Hi, EIP Nation. It's Angie and Dara again. We are here to talk to you a little bit about nutrition, specifically protein. We at EIP really always really encourage people to eat more protein and make sure they're getting adequate protein. What does that mean, and how do I do that? And what's the best options? There's so many options. So Dara and I are going to talk a little bit about that, just to give you a little bit of framework going forward. So I just wanted to mention a little bit about what protein is. So protein is the building blocks of the body. I think a lot of us know that, but it's really important for repairing and building tissue, supporting cell structure, and then it also helps with those chemical reactions in the body, as well as transporting molecules. It helps as hormones, maintains pH balance. There's so many different things. I think most of us, when we think about protein, we think about muscle building, but there's so much more that it does. And we need to make sure that we have adequate protein in order to be able to support our body as a whole. Now, one of the big things I've seen in my healthcare career, specifically as people get older, we see a lot of protein deficiency in the older population, and that will lead to muscle wasting and then even problems with wound healing. So if you're someone who cuts yourself or is a diabetic and may get like an ulcer, that type of thing, it's really, really important in order to heal that you have enough protein in your body. It's super important to be able to adequately just support your body. And if you think about it too, even if you're ill, if you don't have enough protein in your body, you're not going to recover from that as quickly as you would if you had adequate amounts of protein. So, Dara, when we talk about protein, what do we typically recommend for our patients as like a starting point, just basic?
The basic would be 1 gram of protein per ideal pound of body weight.
Yeah,
so it ends up being kind of a lot.
weight.
Yeah, ideal weight. So that your ideal weight is what you would like to get to, whether that is losing or if you're trying to gain muscle, then it would be a little bit different. But for someone who's trying to lose weight, if you are 180 pounds and you want to be 150 pounds, then you would consume 150 grams of protein per day.
And that's not an abnormally large amount, even for a woman. But if you think about it, that's a lot of protein to take in during the day.
A lot of protein. It's very difficult. So yeah, that's where you have to decide as a person, are you someone who can feasibly do, several meals a day, or can you only do 3? If you're only doing 3, then you have to make sure you're getting 50 grams of protein per meal.
That's a lot. So what are some proteins that you recommend for people when you're talking to them about nutrition?
Sure. So it all depends too. You got to do something you like. My husband loves tuna. I do not. So I'm probably not going to be very consistent eating that. And also I'm not going to enjoy that. So it's just not going to be a great process overall. There is some mental toughness that needs to come with your health. So you don't always love what you do, but you do it because you know why you're doing it. You're doing it for your overall health, to lose weight, whatever. But that being said, some of the better proteins to focus on would be lean meats. Mm-hmm. So like chicken is a good option. It's very, very lean. And then turkey also is very lean. The protein content is probably one of the highest in both of those. And then the next would be like leaner ground beef. Mm-hmm. So per ounce, the protein's not going to be quite as much. Chicken's probably the highest, but it's still going to be a great source of protein because it has other nutrients in it, like iron and different things that your body could really use. So I would say that chicken and beef are 2 of my personal favorites that I actually enjoy eating.
Fish is another great option, but it doesn't have the iron and stuff in it that so many of us women particularly need.
Yes. Yeah, that's why I put an emphasis on it. So.
And if you don't know about iron, we'll talk about that one day. But it is there's a lot of deficiencies of iron in women these days. So yeah. If I get hit in the head with an acorn, it's okay. I'm outside.
It's not as painful as a walnut. That's happened here. So.
Things are falling, and I do hear creepy noises, and I'm a little nervous. There might be something living around me. So if I jump up, it's because I watched the movie Cocaine Bear the other day, and I'm a little.
Oh no! A little jumpy.
Oh yeah. So fish is a great option because it's lean as well. Salmon particularly is a really good one. It's got those good fats in it. But what are some other creative ways you can get protein into your body without necessarily eating it?
Yeah, yeah. So I started this habit when I was postpartum with my first child because it was like I realized very early on, like I'm just not eating. I'm all of my energy is going to someone else, and it'd get to be noon and I haven't eaten a single thing, let alone protein. So I actually enjoy collagen peptides, and I put them in my coffee first thing in the morning. So right there, that's 20 grams of protein.
So instead of your
Um,
cream, is that what you do?
no, I actually do. I do the collagen peptides, and then I do a splash of half and half. So it just kind of depends. But yeah, so that is like a great way for me, at least, that works with my schedule because every single morning I have a cup of coffee. So I know that I'm going to be able to be consistent with getting that 20 grams in because a lot of it is going to be habits too.
Yes.
And then um, I try to as well have a protein shake almost every day. Now, I know people have mixed emotions on protein shakes, and that's fine. There's lots of different options now that, don't use animal products that are plant based. You got to do what's best for you, what you're going to stick with. But I just do a typical whey protein. And then I do, because my calories allow it and I enjoy it more, I do use milk. But I also have to say, I don't have issues with milk. So it's just another way to add a couple extra grams of protein by using that milk.
Yeah. Yeah. And you use high quality milk too. That's
Yeah.
another thing. So really sourcing what you're getting. So again, organic grass fed is super expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to pick your battle, which is going to be most important for you. So at least try to get the best option. Both of you and I buy cows, beef, and we just put them in the freezer and we eat them throughout the year. And it's really the best beef I've ever had. And it's local and pretty amazing. But for many of us, if you can stomach it, like the organs of the beef are really good for you too, especially they're high in iron and that type of thing. I am not quite there yet, but some people are.
I know. It's hard. It is hard. Yeah, there are ways to do it. I think I've talked about this before, but in particular, the liver, you can sneak if you blend it up or you grind it up, however you want to do
Mm,
it.
yum. Just some
You can sneak
bloody
some into
liver.
your you can sneak some into your ground beef and nobody will know but
No one will
you.
know. It's
So
true.
the key is though, after you do that, you have to eat it as well. So your family doesn't like question what did you do to this meal.
We did talk about you can dehydrate it or you can buy desiccated liver online too. You can
Yes.
buy it and that's pretty high quality. There's some other supplements too, like amino acids can be very helpful with protein. But I think sneaking it into your drinks, like coffee, like most of us have coffee in the morning. If you can change out your creamer or in addition to it, make sure you get protein in that coffee. Boom, you're already starting your day great.
Yes.
So that's
Yep.
really, really important. Just creative ways to get it instead of
Yep.
chewing on, say, like your snacks now, maybe doing a chopstick or doing yogurt or doing something with added protein. Instead of oatmeal, do quinoa and add protein powder to that. Just keep adding it in there. Really making it a priority. And then a close second is fiber and vegetables. So making sure you're getting plenty of fiber and vegetables. Fruit
Yes.
comes down the line for me, but protein and veggies are high on my list of nutrients, appropriate nutrients for people. So
Yeah. Yeah.
there is
Absolutely.
just lots to learn, and it is a lifestyle change. And really, it's all about taking one step at a time. Like, okay,
Yes.
first, I'm going to start with the collagen in my coffee. Then I'm going to start to try to get 30 grams of protein per meal, whatever it may be. Again,
Yeah.
if you get to even you can get to 100 grams, like most of us weigh over 100 pounds, right? Most of us are supposed to be higher weight than that. So getting to 100 grams, even getting to that first step is a great step because most of us don't get 100 grams of protein.
No, we
And
don't.
if you want to know what your ideal body weight is, come talk to us. I don't think BMI is super accurate. So there's different ways to analyze it. We really want to make sure you have enough muscle mass because that's really important for you to be able to function long term, is to have enough muscle mass to be able to do what you need to do when you're 75 or 85 or that type of thing. So super important tips. Any other sneaky tips that you have found, Dara, to sneak it into your life or into your kids' life?
Well, I think the thing for my kids is like I started young with making healthy habits and prioritizing protein. And it's so funny because my 2-year-old daughter is probably the best protein eater. If there is protein on her plate and then other things, that is the first thing she's gravitating towards is eating. And so, typical mom moment.
Yes.
Nothing ever goes. And okay, I'm sorry, but I would say that like having conversations with your kids about why we are making these changes and why they're important is a big deal. And it's just
Nora.
being able to explain to them, even for yourself, like, when you don't have enough protein, say you have like a building project and, you need all the supplies to build, whatever you are building. And if you go to your supply center and there's nothing there, how are you going to build what you need to build? And that's kind of what it is with protein. If you are trying to build muscle and after you work out, you don't replenish, with protein, or throughout the day you're not eating protein, then when your body goes to rebuild itself, it has nothing to use.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, talking to your kids as you're able, depending on their age level, about why we, eat protein and just having those healthy habits. Some people are really big about sneaking protein in, like you had said. Because I started young, I didn't really sneak. We just kind of talked about it. But there are other ways. Like there are a lot of different, if you look up recipes with beans, you can use beans, you can make really yummy, like black bean brownies.
Yeah.
That,
yeah.
It sounds really bizarre, but I promise it's not disgusting if you follow directions. But that's a great way on a budget to make something sweet your family will enjoy, but then you're also getting a good amount of protein.
Yeah, sneaky ways for sure.
Yes, and if you're trying to like transition over to more protein, there are a lot of great, again, if you don't have issues with dairy, there are a lot of great recipes with cottage cheese. I made a delicious fettuccine Alfredo recipe the other day, and it used cottage
fettuccine Alfredo.
It was so good. So good.
Sounds good. Yeah, cottage cheese is a big one right now. You can do anything with cottage cheese, just like cauliflower. Mix those two together. So you have such an advantage. Your kids are young, and I'm trying to catch up with my older kids, trying to teach them, okay, you need protein. My 17-year-old son, who's a football player, just is like, oh, I need to eat to bulk up. I'm like, well, no, you need to eat the right stuff. And trying to teach him what the right stuff is. And at a teenage level, sometimes that's challenging, but he's learning. They're learning. But yeah, teaching your kids is really important because we want that next generation. We want them to be healthy and not to struggle like we struggle, or having to learn at an older age. It's just so much harder.
Yeah, absolutely. But even for ourselves, if you are on your weight loss journey, if you have two people and one of them is consistently eating 100 grams of protein and the other is not, at the end of 6 months, the person who is eating consistently at least 100 grams of protein is going to look significantly better in comparison to where they were.
Especially if they're taking that and going to and using that with their gym, like trying to build muscles. It's so important to build those muscles. You have to have enough protein.
Yes.
So some people who get stalled on their weight loss journeys because they're not eating enough.
Yes. Not eating enough and not eating enough protein can actually be very detrimental to you. So if you wonder why you're not losing weight, one of them could be as simple as you're not eating enough protein.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's lots to be said about protein. Now, there's certain people who can't have tons of protein, and people with kidney disease. But for the most part, most of us need a good chunk of protein. So us at EIP, we highly recommend it, and we're always trying to source good places for protein for you. So if you want recommendations, let us know. We're happy to tell you what we use and who we recommend. So, but Dara, thanks for joining us today and sharing your wisdom. And we will see you soon.
Yes. Thank you, Angie.